Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. I once read a pshat in a Chassidish sefer on a pasuk that we say every day in davening from Az Yashir. And we say like this: Amar Oyev, Erdoif Asig Achalik Shalo. What does that mean? That the enemy says, Amar Oyev, the enemy says, Erdoif, I will chase after them. Asig, I will chop them, I will catch them. Achalik Shalo, and we will split the spoil. We'll take over. So Chassidish pshat says, Oyev is the Yetzer Hara. Oyev is who's the bigger enemy? The biggest enemy we have is the Yetzer Hara. And this is the theme, the motivation that the Yetzer Hara works with. The Yetzer Hara knows that the Yidden are standing strong. The Yidden are fest in their emunah, and he's trying to find some form of a trick, how to make the Yidden Rachmana litzlan compromise in their avodas Hashem. So Amar Oyev, the enemy says, the Yetzer Hara says, Erdoif, I will chase them. Asig, I'll chop them. Rachmana litzlan. How will I chop them? By achalek sholol. I will make them split the sholol, the spoil. Which spoils? Sholol, says the Sefer, is a Rashi Tevis for Shmam, Levusham, Lishainom. We know that what kept the Yidden strong in Mitzrayim, and because of that, the Chazal say, in those merits we were actually freed from Mitzrayim, was the Shmam, our names, as the Chazal tell us, Reuven, Shimon, Nachsev, Reuven, Shimon, Salka. The Reuven, Shimon, as they had those names, they went into Mitzrayim, and they came out with those Yiddish names, Reuven, Shimon. Shmam, the Yidden didn't compromise even in Mitzrayim on their Jewish name. L'shoinam, the Jewish speech, the Jewish way of speaking, and language. Shmam, L'shoinam, and Levusham, and their dress code. So the Yetzer Hara says, you know what? Give in a little. Achalek shalol. Let's split. Let's meet halfway. Don't be so picture perfect in one of these things, one of these three things, or any one of these three things, or all three things, Rachmana litzlan. When the Yetzer Hara, Rachmana litzlan, gets a Yid to even compromise in one of those three things, the dress code of a Yid, the names of the Yidden, and the speech of a Yid, halfway there for the Yetzer Hara is Asig. Rachmana litzlan, he got his job done. So today we'll talk about one of those three, and that is L'shoinam. One interesting part of L'shoinam, of the Jewish way of speaking, and perhaps is not exactly what this L'shoinam means, but it has a connection to it. The mameh loshon. And there is a place where the Rebbe writes, that Yeshna Maila b'svas yidish legabe sha'ara l'shoinos. The Rebbe said in Tavshim Mem Aleph in Shabbos Parshas Yisroi that there's actually a benefit speaking Yiddish over any other language. Obviously, we're speaking English now, but Moshe Rabbeinu was also mevayer the Torah kola b'shivim loshon for those who don't speak Yiddish. But if somebody grew up with his family speaking Yiddish, there is a benefit to keep the Yiddish loshon going, and that's what the Rebbe writes. The Rebbe quotes from the Shalah, and the Shalah obviously was not talking about Yiddish, but the Shalah was giving us a perspective of the different translations that you may find in the Torah. There's different psukim in the Torah that it's used as an explanation. The classical one is teitafis. Teitafis for tefillin. There's no Hebrew word teitafis. Rashi himself says that tat Afriki shtayim pas karsi shtayim, that it's tat fas means two. 2 plus 2 is 4. It's the 4 boxes of tefillin. Why is the Torah mentioning words or l'shoinos that are foreign, that's not holy? So the Shalah actually explains this very well. The Shalah says, do not make a mistake that it's actually foreign languages. Says the Shalah, Al yala b'daitcha sha'Torah kasva elo l'shoinos she'enam lahak. Do not think that Torah is quoting non-Hebrew, non-loshon HaKodesh, non-holy words. Elahachi Perusha. Rather, the understanding is like this. Kishabara HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ba'olamai, when Hashem created His world, the only way of speaking was the holy way of speaking, the holy Lashon HaKodesh. When, however, the Dor HaFlaga came about, and the Eibush just spread them all around and mixed everything up, confused everything, mixed everything up, Bala Lashon HaKodesh Gam came B'shara Lashonos. So you're going to find some words of Lashon HaKodesh in every single language. And the ones that the Torah quotes is actually Lashon HaKodesh from that country. But the Torah's language is something that we have to really keep. And the Rebbe uses that as a dogma that we should keep the Yiddish going. And there is a advantage of the Yiddish, obviously for those who have spoken that language as they were growing up. There's other places where the Rebbe speaks about if he should insist that the next generation, the younger generation, you should teach them dafka in Yiddish when they never heard Yiddish at home. And the Rebbe says that over there you have to judge where the more your shamayim, where are you going to get more for your buck, more for your investment. In other words, if the Yerushalayim, they're going to study more, it's going to be more edel, more ruchnius, if it's presented and understood well through Yiddish. Fine, you do it Yiddish. There's obviously a mile with that. If, however, there's going to be a waste of time and etc., as the Rebbe says, for then, you could use what we are doing now, English or any other language. That's how, as it's mentioned in a couple of places in Sichos from the Rebbe. Lately I saw Rav Yosef Dov Soloveitchik from Boston has a beautiful thought about this too, about Yiddish. And he says there's a din in Hilchos Shabbos. In Hilchos Shabbos there is a din that if Rachmana Litzlan there's a fire in somebody's home on Shabbos, so you're allowed to save certain things. You're allowed to save mazon, food for a certain amount of meals to survive. And you're obviously allowed to save a Sefer Torah. But not only a Sefer Torah you have to save, but you have permission to save the tick of the Sefer Torah, the mantle, the thing that keeps the Sefer Torah covered. Says Rabbi Soloveitchik, Rav Soloveitchik, let's analyze Yiddish sprach. Is Yiddish sprach kedusha? Is it like a Sefer Torah? No. But I'm sure that I could say that a tick shel kedusha it is. A garment where kedusha was dressed in it, 100% sure it is. And he says like this. This is the words I'm reading from. Somebody quotes his speech. Auf der Sprach hat der Ramah, der Marschall, der Vilna Gaon, Reb Chaim Volozhner und andere Gedolei Yisrael mit seiner Talmidim Torah gelernt. In the Yiddish Sprach, the Ramah, the Marschall, the Vilna Gaon, Reb Chaim Volozhner, they taught their shiurim in Yiddish. And you're thinking, oh, it's all the Litvische, yeah? Says Rabbi Soloveitchik, auf Yiddish hat der Baal Shem Tov, der Mezritcher Magid, und der Alter Rebbe, Soides for Maise Bereshis declared. They spoke about the most lofty things. Auf Pashata Mama Loshon haben die Yiddische Massen Zayamuna. The Yidden, the mass, the masses, the Jews, the simple Yidden, all have their faith from the hand-me-down, from the traditions that people from the generation before have taught them in Yiddish. Pashata Liebe und Treischaft ausgedrückt. Ad hayoim, till today, many and most of the Rosh Hashivas give their shiurim in Yiddish. So tell me, he says, isn't that a tick shel Sefer Torah? Isn't that a garment that the Sefer Torah is enclosed in? Uvechein, if just like in Hilchos Shabbos and in Hilchos Kedusha Sefer Torah, it's not only the Sefer Torah that has Kedusha, but the tick too. So you could extend it into the loshon of Yiddish. That there's a special kedusha in the Yiddish mameh loshon.